Sippers, welcome to this episode of the Tea With Me podcast. It's your boy, Shane Todd. Guys, couple of things I hate right off the bat. Number one, global poverty. Number two, when the top of my hair goes over my ears. And if you're watching the video version, you can see that that's happening. And I hate that. And also, but I'm thinking about bringing curtains back as a look. What's going to happen over the next couple of weeks hair-wise for me, nobody knows. But one thing is for sure, the sun is out today. It's a good day outside, even though I'm wearing a very heavy fleece inside. That's just because I went outside to do a bit of editing and I didn't know what the temperature was, and I put the fleece on thinking I'll warm up and then I'll take it off, but it wasn't actually outside for that long because then it came in. You didn't need to know that, but what you do need to know is today my guest is none other than Mr. Colin Geddis, stand-up video maker. Man, you know, he really, really is. Colin and I had a great chat. Talked about tea, we talked about spice, talked about comedy, everything in between. I think you're really going to enjoy that. Colin's kind of like the OG of Northern Irish podcasts, you know. OJ is kind of like the OJ Simpson in a way of local podcasts, you know. And he sat down, had a great chat with me, which I really enjoyed, because like catching up with mates. You know, normally we'd be doing gigs together. We maybe have something to eat or whatever, and it's difficult, you know. And it was halfway through this podcast, I was like, it's like hanging out with your mates again, you know. But I really enjoyed the chat. I think you guys are too. I'm not going to do a long intro for this because I think we talked for a good amount of time, and look, we probably could have done a 10-hour podcast because it was just great to catch up. This is the Tea With Me podcast with Colin Geddis. Remember we ran a comedy club in the Odyssey for 1 week and we thought it was going to be class, and I started freaking out and walking around and like touching an earpiece and going, guys, we need to be live here in 40 seconds.
I think we thought we were running it, and there was like a network of like some of Ireland's biggest moguls running it, and we were running around getting paid about £8 going, I'm a businessman now.
What about the guy who just kept going, oh man, I just did a waterfall there? You're like, why? Why?
The amount of kit you'd have to carry about to do a waterfall in like the Odyssey. Toilets.
He's a proper businessman. He's like, guys, got to look at the overheads and projections here, but hold on, let me do a lung.
Just the scummiest drugs. Anyway, we'll talk about next year's projection, but here, listen, I just smoked hash from a Fanta can, so bear with me to get the vision back in my left eye here.
I'm just nipping the fresh garbage here.
I just smoked spice. Who wants a burger?
Speaking of spice, who's hungry?
Fuck, I'm sweating already.
Oh, they were good times. I remember when you just started doing stand-up, and I said, listen, there's this bar in Hollywood, why don't we do like an I'm Fighter comedy night? And you said, yes, let's do it. It was me, you, in fact, I wasn't even on. It was you, Mickey, Sean, and somebody, Paddy McGackie maybe.
Yeah.
And just how much you don't know about business back then, and probably still don't. I charged in. The guy goes, it was that same guy, goes, how much do you want to charge here? And I was just grateful they were letting us do it. So I went, what if it was £2 and I'll take £1 from every two? And he goes, yeah, 100%.
It was £12 in at the door.
Well, do you remember that was a total shit show? Like, he goes, there's so many people in, but we'll get screens up in the smoking area so they can watch the comedy. No, it was just a meet and greet, wasn't it? Like, nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah, I think, especially with me, there was no point in me even trying to do stand-up for like another 6 years, probably.
What did you do? Just sort of stand? I mean, nobody really listened. The only time anyone listened to anyone was when Sean went on and just sang the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme tune and then left. And like, I remember at the time I'd done so little comedy that I was like, man, he's got some tricks. Yeah, my dad goes, see that? He should have tapped into that there. I was like, what? I'm becoming MC.
He could have if that's an original song, he could have taken that. I don't even know where Bel-Air is, like, but you know, he could have been everywhere.
Where is that? Lurgan? He's from Lurgan, is he? Up there.
Fuck.
We did some shit. When people say what's the worst gig you ever done, is yours also the gig we did together in Derry McCash?
Yeah, that was up there, like. And I remember it sounds like diva behavior, but I literally in the middle of a sentence went, Is anyone listening at all? And there was nobody even turned like to look at me to be like, "What's he said?" They just kept talking, and it was like such a wall of noise. And then I just was like, I just set the mic down and I was testing it, but I just slowly walked off the stage, and then we were off. And then I don't know who was driving, but there was like a full blown riot in the car park, and the cars were just slowly moving through crowds of people, fucking digging ahead of each other.
Yeah, but
falling with a bonnet.
What's mad is we all did about 3-4 minutes each. They all paid in. It was like packed out, and the people that were there had like the best night. But they were like, "Mate, that was unreal." It's like fine, but I think I was driving and we were parked outside waiting on Sean to go and get us the money from the go and get us our £6, and then there was a full riot in the car park, and I just had to, like, as I was waiting for him, just really politely like maneuver around the fight. It was moving slowly, and we had to just keep, excuse me, in my wee Corsa.
You were literally like nudging people on the arse to get them out of the way while they were like throwing digs all over the place.
Yeah, fuck, that was rough. What else stands out as a real bad one we did?
Together.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fucking Portrush Playhouse ones where like if we'd have turned up the night before, the crowd numbers and reaction would have been the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it looked like a cinema, and it had as many seats as a fucking cinema, but then they would let in like 6 people because nobody went out in that venue, which we didn't know. You're not from Portrush, believe it or not, but they would just nobody went to that venue, because I remember doing gigs after that down the street in that Atlantic Lounge or whatever the Retro or whatever it's called, and it was packed twice. So I think it was just like we picked the wrong venue, like.
Because I did the bar in there about 2 months ago. It was class.
Yeah.
So it's called Kiwis now.
The Playhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was. I think it wasn't like there was one standout bad gig. It was just like the stupidity of turning up month after month, getting the whole way there, and being like, "Anyone in this week?" And people
Why is this not different? Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, guys. This is going to be the week.
I would do it up the back, guys.
I think there's one picture of me doing stand-up at it with like a wee satchel on, because I must have thought it wasn't going ahead, and then at the last minute, as we were leaving, someone's like, "No, we have enough to do it." I think I just have a backpack on, and one just doing a set. Yeah, there was some bad ones. Let me ask you this. I normally ask this as my first question, but
let me ask you this very quickly. Have you finally run out of celebrities to talk to?
Nah, I'm waiting for Jamie Thigpen's to tonight.
Oh fuck!
I've got
Big Keith from The Office. Remember him? He's on.
Who's that guy from Blue Peter? Lizzo?
The black dude, the newsreader. Yeah, he was the fucking shit, man. He was he was a beast.
I've got Lizzo, Lorraine Kelly, and fucking Dean Bars coming on next week.
Ding, ding, ding.
I mean, that'd be a decent pod. I would definitely.
I'm nearly sure because I never went to hairdressers when I was younger, because my ma cut hair, and I
thought you were going to say you were always bald.
Pretty much, but I can remember having a picture of Dean Bars in a magazine going, "I want my hair cut like that." Do you know when people take in photos of fucking Rachel from Friends?
Females.
Your hair looks like Claire Balding's at the minute.
I look at it and think it's like DiCaprio in Titanic. And it is, but only if they pulled him out after it.
Oh, fuck's sake.
That's what I took in a picture of DiCaprio when he's just lying on that thing in the water.
Just fucking Kate Winslet lying with her tits out, like. And you're like, "Can you do that?"
Leo just stuck. Fuck yeah. Ooh. I don't know what to do. I think I'm just going to keep growing it. I like it.
I'm glad you haven't shaved it. You know, that's the move now. People just shaving their head.
Yeah. I normally ask people, do they drink tea? Here's the thing. I don't think you can be tied down to one drink. Like anytime we've gone to have
Yeah.
tea or coffee, you're very like I'll just get one drink. I'll just get a tea or a coffee, and I feel like you go up to the counter quite a lot of times. Like you'll maybe start with a tea and then go, hold on, let me get a fucking latte here as well, and then you get a latte and a sparkling water, and then
Yeah.
just other drink. Like you accrue a lot of drinks. What are you drinking right now?
Yeah, big beverage guy. At the minute, I know it's fucking tea with me and all that shit, but I have a full pot of coffee there, which I'll probably rip through. But
also big beverage guy, worst Marvel superhero of them all.
Fucking cars flying through the air and all. He's like, is anyone thirsty? Opens his coat.
Big flask.
Cans of Sprite. Yeah, I'll drink. I had a podcast of my own a couple of weeks ago, and the title of the podcast was Coffee Slut, because people get real fucking, picky about like exactly what coffee they have. Like, I only drink black coffee, but I'll drink it. Mine changes daily. I'll be like iced fucking Americano, espresso. Like it changes all the time. And like tea, I don't really drink tea that much, but I always think of it as like an accompaniment to food.
Tea?
Yeah, I would have tea with like a breakfast or something. Like I would never just be like I could have a cup of coffee and just have a cup of coffee. I do it 16 times a day. But tea would never be like, oh, I just made myself a wee tea and just sip away it. I feel like there has to be something else with it.
Hold on, but I make myself tea by itself all the time, but I never say, like I never get like excited about it. It's just a thing. But I definitely like to see me coming with coffee. I'm quite new to drinking coffee. You'd see the pods, you can get like wee espresso pods. Say it's like £2 for a wee box, but for £3 they put like an exotic country on it, like Colombia,
Guatemala.
Popping, that gets me, because I don't know the difference between a taste, but I will pay an extra quid and go. But these are from Congo. I don't understand the difference yet. But
I mean, you can be like, it's like craft beer or something. People get really fucking up their hole about it. And do you remember that old Dylan Moran bit where he's like about wine? He goes, you either sip it and go, ugh, or you sip it and you go, oh, that's actually all right.
Yeah.
That's coffee. It can be like, I've had coffees and people are like, oh, this is a fucking, blonde roast, such and such, and the caffeine's higher, and you drink it and you're like, that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And then you'll just get like some shitty instant coffee and you're like, that's actually not bad. I don't know.
Big Labatt's man here. Guitars on the wall. Are you playing more? Are you playing more guitar? Because I think when I was at your parents' house, you used to have in the original Iron Fighter garage, you used to have a guitar and sort of, is that the white one?
Yeah.
And just play the odd, like, you're sort of like, you'd be into it sometimes and then not. But have you got like way more into it? Or you just like having the guitars up?
No, I play them like. I just like, I'm the same with guitars the way I'm like with anything else. If I actually fucking put my mind to it, I'll probably be all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Like at the minute, I'm like say if you were a footballer, you're like a guy who's just really good at like keepy-ups and tricks, but you haven't played a game in years. Yeah, you know what I mean? But that's what it's like.
Back doing the Maradona 7.
Yeah, I should actually, like the dexterity and the fucking all that's decent, but I just don't know any theory, which I should learn. Like probably.
I went to guitar. You probably knew me at this time. I went to guitar lessons twice in Hollywood, and the guy, there was a Scottish fella teaching me Ronan Keating when you say nothing at all, and I lost the head and left. I was like, I'm never going to be able to play this, Kevin. Just head it up, because I could do the singing, but I just couldn't play it.
Is he making you sing at the same time?
Yeah.
This guy just trying to fuck you. Like, can you sing this to me?
Because I couldn't. I could do a chord spot on, but it took me about 10 minutes to get my fingers round, which is weird considering the length of my fingers. But I couldn't get round to the next chord in time. You know what I mean? Like there'd be too long in between. Like sometimes it's fine, play a chord and then leave a wee bit of atmosphere, but it was just too long.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
But it's like, yeah, like
how you
need to literally just go between them. you know, to the point where you don't look or think about it. It's just like you can just move your hands.
When do you think we'll be doing stand up? Because there's so many different theories, opinions out there.
I think you will be able to do some sort of. Well, I mean, literally, I was talking to our shared promoters about fucking outdoor gigs.
Yep, same.
Which might be, I would do it in this time just for like the vlog. You know what I mean? Just as a moment to be like, do you remember how crazy that was? But I'd say there'd be like phase-in gigs probably in the summer.
Yes,
they might be weird, like, but
yeah, reduced capacity kind of thing.
And I don't think touring and big gigs will be, you know, probably fucking early, middle next year. Probably, I'd say.
Yeah, like it was so like. Did you have to cancel any live stand up, or you just kind of finished doing shows? It maybe came at the right time for you.
Yeah, it was actually perfect for me because I got all the shit done, did the 2 big shows, and then wasn't really doing anything anyway, just doing the odd laveries, and then the lockdown came, and I only had to cancel one live podcast, which was supposed to go ahead, but yeah, like obviously we're talking about like booking more SSE shows, but it's gonna be October next year, like,
yeah,
because you know, say everything just fucking you got the green light in like a month. None of us have done stand up.
Oh yeah,
do you know what I mean? So it's like you can't be like, come see me at the SSE. It's the same set as last time, and then I'll just throw in a bit of Corona jokes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Something real, like at the start, just something really like some sort of lockdown joke or whatever, and then just straight into the set.
Yeah,
I think a big thing is going to be not doing any coronavirus material when this is over, because whatever joke I think you can think of, unless it's like a personal experience story, whatever joke or material you can think of, I just have a feeling that I'll be just about to go on stage and whoever's on before will do the joke and I'll go, fuck.
Yeah. It's gonna be. Hold on, they changed it. There we go. It's gonna be. Yeah, you're gonna really have to bring the fucking fire, like if you've got Corona stuff.
Yeah.
Or you know, it might be like this is your experience during lockdown, type thing. If I was gonna do it, I would definitely go down the racist route of picking on the Chinese, but
yeah. or your normal set, as it's known.
I had a fucking joke there before the lockdown, just when coronavirus was starting to kick about, and it was like so rough, but it was all true. But it was like that. If I could have done that a couple more times, I feel like it could have been a really fucking good bit about why do like a lot of Asian countries eat the weirdest shit just because they think it's going to give them a fucking boner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything you know, you ever watch those travel shows and the guy's eating like a shark bollock and he's like, ugh, and points at his dick and he's like, ugh, and you know, fucking Anthony Bourdain's like, oh, I think he's trying to say it makes you fucking fertile, gives you a root. There's a lot of stuff they eat. And then my joke was, there's about fucking 3 billion of them. Like, I think they're fertile enough. And then the joke was, they were so fertile, you know, a couple of decades ago that they literally were drowning their own daughters. Now, that's absolutely true. But everyone goes, ooh.
How much do you miss that noise of crowds? Oh, and just someone going, oh my fuck.
I don't like it because I know that they don't care. It's like a
panto type. It's
like a virtue signal, as they say now. Like, that's them going, I can't not make this noise.
Yeah.
I have to, if I've got to laugh, I have to, make that noise first.
There's actually around the corner from me in Balnahinch, there's a Chinese medicine like practitioner guy, who does like alternative type
holistic
things. And
guy?
I don't know. I think it's kind of all right. Like I went to him for Crohn's disease, and he just gave me spice.
Is he Chinese?
Well, nah, not really.
No, Is it like you go in with a sore back and you leave with a curry half and half?
Everything they recommend is on the menu.
Listen, man, it looks like arthritis, but if you take some satay king prawns, it might heal up.
COVID, chime in.
AIDS, is it? I'm an old spring roll here for AIDS.
While
Starts going through the fridge. Where is it?
while we're on racist rants, why don't more Chinese restaurants here not take contactless? But anyway, yeah, none of them do. None of them take it. I don't know. I think if I was doing a gig tonight, you would be rusty, but because it'd be such a novelty to do it again, I think you'd be on form. You know what I mean? Like, I think the nerves would be there, but then the second or third time you did it, I'd say that's when you'd start to notice, like, nah, I'm not. It's a material too. Like, I've written 15 minutes of new stuff since all this. So I feel like if I was doing stand-up tonight, because it'd be so new, I could get away with it, but you still need to, like, try that material, obviously. And I don't know, I don't know about you, but I wasn't doing any writing at the start of this for about a month and a half. Just couldn't write stand-up. Just because I couldn't pitch. Like, the excitement of writing stand-up for me is, say I'm writing it on a Tuesday afternoon, I can then message you and be like, here, can I do Lavery's tomorrow night and try this? Or Pulse on Thursday. But when you've nowhere to do it, the incentive sort of goes away a bit.
Well, it's just like having a purpose. It's like, yeah, you gotta be fucking doing it with a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Like, this is what I'm doing it for, type thing. Luckily for me, I very rarely sit down and just like, I'm gonna write now, unless it's for a video. But I've just been throwing some things on my phone, like different stuff, and there are things that I know when I go to write about them, there'll be like a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna call next year's big shows Unbelievable, which was kind of because I say it a lot on podcasts when I fucking listen back. I'm like, that's like a tick. But then just if you were to fucking tell people the story of what I've been through in the last year, and then throw in like this fucking pandemic in the mix of it, it is kind of fucking. I just thought it'd be a good name, like Unbelievable. So there's like a lot of sort of like weird shit in there that I could write about already.
That's good. That's good as well, because it's not really tying you to a specific thing. You're just talking about the fact that so much has gone on in your life in the last year. It's not like it has a theme that boxes you in too much, because I think I've done that before, where I've like come up with a title for a show or a theme of a show, and then 2 months out gone, this show in no way, like, it's going to be shit if I just make it about this. So I just started making them way more loose.
Yeah.
Like I wrote that the 2 shows ago, it was the Todd Father, about it was a whole show about the tattoo. I didn't talk about that at any point of the show.
I know, it's like, I know Dave had the dad show.
Yeah.
And it's so hard not to, like, as soon as you have a kid, talk about it loads.
Well, I'm thinking that at the minute. I'm like, is all my material going to be that? Is it going to be similar to any material that any of Dave, any of my mates have just come dads? Like, are we going to have kind of the same material? Or I don't know. I guess it depends if something, I think if something happens to me in the process of us having the baby, that I go, oh, this is beyond mental, or this is very me, then I'll do it. But like,
yeah,
I think
like I thought,
like a whole show around it, I don't know.
Yeah, if it's very you, that's the, like, whenever I was talking about when Eddie was born, like this ball bag being fucking enormous, that's very me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird because I think because we're in the middle of pregnancy and lockdown, there's not the sort of stories you would maybe normally have. Like, life's different. Like, we're not out and about or getting people's reaction. You know, just like being out, say out for a restaurant, and she's got the bump or whatever, and people, maybe someone saying something to you or whatever. We're not getting any of that, so it's hard to like actually come up with material for it.
Yeah,
But
you're just chilling. Is she working
no, well, from home, yeah.
from home? Do you know what? It's probably not the worst thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just, I know when Maureen was pregnant, there was a few times, like, I went to this coffee shop and this girl was like fucking ready to pop, like, still working. And I was like, you're looking at it, you're like, I feel like you shouldn't be working right now.
It's like that
Obviously, people have to, like, but
that bit in Curb Your Enthusiasm when the one really with the big bumps on the treadmill, and
yeah.
he's just giving her the look. I don't know. It's obviously weird that we're about to have a baby in lockdown, but what's it like having a baby in lockdown?
It's fine. I mean, I'm jealous. You see, when everyone puts things up and they're like, "Oh man, I'm so bored and I wish I had something to do," and I'm like, I used to make fucking pottery when I was in school, and I've taken that back up. Or they put up a photo and they're like, I cleaned the whole back patio with a toothbrush.
Before and after.
I haven't experienced that. I've had more to do, because like obviously like yourself, you start doing more Patreon stuff and you end up doing 3 podcasts a week, and that fucking turns over so quickly. And then the baby is like, before you know it, it's 10 o'clock at night every day. You're just like, what the fuck? And now he's like weaning, so not only do you feed him bottles, but you have to sit him down for these like fucking meals where he just fucking takes food and just mashes it all over his face.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, you do that like fucking, you do that 3 times a day plus all the bottles, and you're like, all I've done is sit here. Like at one point, sometimes I'll be like, I need to see like a physio from just holding this fucking baby like this. And now he weighs like 8 stone. You're like, fucking dying trying to feed. So like, yeah, I mean, I have to make appointments to do work, if you know what I mean. I have to say to Maureen, like, I will not be here in these hours, or else I'll just fucking not get anything done.
So sometimes I wish, like, already thinking about that kind of thing and having to do that a bit, I wish we did something like a bit more like noble, because when you're like, listen, I have to get off here. Why? I'm doing a podcast with Ainsley Harriet. I have to. It'd be way better if you're a doctor or whatever. But
listen, Van Morrison dropped out from the podcast, so I'm talking to Woodsy.
But asking him the same questions.
So this second album, is that what it really kicked off for you?
What's funny is, like, at this time of morning, like, we're the only 2 people who could have done this podcast, because no one stand-ups get up before 4.
For sure. I did a podcast with Aaron the other day, and I was like, it's like I had a friend who died, because like I can't contact him. Like, you know what I mean? You'll text him and be like, "Oh man, what do you think of this?" And then at 10 to fucking 11 at night, he'd be like, "Sorry man, just woke up."
Yeah. I mean, I said to you about going up Sleep Donner the other day. I was like, here, we should all go up, all the boys. And then very quickly you're like, hey, who would also go?
Yeah, I know. I remember in that little comedians group, and I can't remember what order it was, but like, who the fuck was it? Dave maybe put something in, and the way like you see a message with no replies for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I was like, it was either Dave or Patty or Casey, and I was like, Dave, don't worry, I seen it. I have a child too, or something, like, and it was basically everyone that has a kid was already up, being like, yeah, we've all been up for fucking hours here.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is a silver lining for me in a way, like with all the early mornings that are coming, because I get up really early for no real reason. Mm-hmm. So I think that is going to be easier, but I don't like people are freaking me out with this 6 weeks thing. This seems to be a big thing. The first 6 weeks. Oh, mate, see the first 6 weeks. You got to get through the first 6 weeks. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Alex.
You see, the thing is, like, I would get up early enough. I'd have to be drinking the fucking 5 a.m. before I would sleep into like 11 or 12 or something.
Yeah.
But like, which is real hard to do with a child, but you just you think that, like, I was thinking, like, oh, I stay up late and I get up early, and you know, I'm not that big a fan of sleeping. But what happens is, it's not like you're well rested and well slept and well fed, and then someone delivers you the baby. You go from like, oh, this looks like she's gonna have this baby here, and then you're awake for fucking 48 hours. Then you get a baby, and you take it home, and you're trying to figure this shit out, and you're like absolutely fucking knackered. And depending on whether or not there's a breastfeeding or not, like if you decide to breastfeed, the it seems sort of harsh, but the best thing to do is you just don't wake up at night, and she feeds the baby all night, and then you take the baby in the morning and she sleeps. Because we made the mistake of like, I would get up and be like standing there like, do you need any assistance? And there's no point in like both of you being awake at all, because then you wake up in the morning and it's honestly like, do you ever see those, you know, like two heroin addicts at a bus stop and people are like, his time's falling apart? That's what you're like. Just, you'd be like, is it do you want a piece of toast? And you're fucking like flopping off the sofa.
People gone to the dogs.
But like it's honestly, like someone said like, oh, the first 3 months or whatever, and honestly, like I think when they say 3 months they mean like the sleeping pattern and everything, but like honestly it must have been like 3 months up to the fucking day, and Eddie just slept through the night, and we were like, you know, oh my god. So, and then they get the hang of that for a few months, and then they start getting teeth, and then it's fucking up all night. I have to tell you this. The other night, like Eddie's been sleeping well, and then he got a few teeth in, and then they came through a bit, and then he settled a wee bit, and then he started eating food, and obviously like the whole nappy situation is a fucking journey the whole time. You're like, oh, regular shit, absolute disaster. What's this? Tsunami of shit. Is he okay? But we were feeding him like, you know, puree and like cauliflower and wee broccoli and stuff. And now that I think about it, I'm like, this would make a grown adult shit his pants.
Oh, but also that's my rider for stand-up.
Can I get pureed? Fuck. But so we went to bed the other night, right? He fell asleep downstairs. We carried him up, put him in the wee bedside cot thing. Both of us asleep. He's asleep, and then just wakes up screaming, like full blown, like not even crying, just like with his eyes closed, and just screaming and screaming. And he was like sweating. He was like clammy, and I was like, oh my god! Fucking whipped all they sleep in this wee like sleeping bag thing. Took all that shit off. Took all his clothes off, just his nappy, and he's like sticky, like sweating, screaming and screaming and screaming. And I automatically was like, when I jumped out of bed, I was like, pulled a pair of shorts on and put a hoodie on. And when we went downstairs, I had car keys in my pocket, and I was like, we're gonna have to fucking go here, somewhere. And I was like, it's obviously like his belly or something, you know what I mean? The way he was like struggling like this. And Maureen was sitting on the sofa holding, and he just I swear to God, the longest fart you've ever heard in your life, and like a fucking like a truck driver with diarrhea. It was like, and it wasn't even a shit, but it was obviously like just gas. You know, like when you fart yourself, there's a bit of like cooperation with a fart. You know what I mean? You're like, you push it out a bit. He just like, it was like someone fucking knifed a tire. It was just like, and he did a couple of these, honestly, like fucking 10-second farts, and then just straight to sleep, no clothes on, sweating. And the funniest bit of it was, I had to turn out a boy when he fucking dropped one, and I was like, because you're panicking. It's stressful when a baby's just like screaming, and I was like, I legit was like, was that you or him? And she was like, it was him, and I was like, thank God. It would have been way more funny in all the heat of that. You know, if you're about like, you're like, was that you or him? And she went, that was me, but phone an ambulance.
Sippers, let me really quickly interrupt just to say that we are on Patreon, patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. If you want to support the podcast, you can make a monthly small donation if you're in a position to do. Obviously, if you're not, I totally get it. But you will get that bonus episode that we do on a Monday, me and producer Dan. It's basically a full-length bonus episode, and there's loads more stuff. The more you donate, the more you can sort of get. But I understand everyone can't help at the minute, but if you can, class. Also, let me really quickly plug the Waterfront Hall. I am doing stand-up again. Hurrah. Let me bring it up. My Waterfront Hall date in September has been moved. So I think everyone who had a ticket knows that now. And we put on a new date just to make sure that it's a better time. 6th of February next year. 6th of February. Actually not that long away. It's my brand new stand-up show that I should have been doing in sort of August, September, October time, but we're rescheduling the whole thing. 6th of February, the Waterfront Hall. You can get tickets, the remaining tickets on their website. You can see on the website there isn't a whole pile of tickets left for that. So if you want to get a ticket to that, do get a ticket to it. Patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. Enough shit talking from me. Back to the podcast. That's like I've never changed to not be on a baby before or an adult. I just like I know it'll be grand. Like I'm sort of calm about it all, but I've never had like sleep disruption ever. Like I like to get 16 hours a night. Like I don't I don't like to be woken up. Like I'm hoping whenever we actually go to hospital to have it, there'll be another cot just for the wee man to get in.
Well, that's the issue. Like, I got sent home by a midwife. She was like, "Can you go home, please, and go to sleep? Because you'll be no use to anybody." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Just not. I don't know how many fucking times I've been up and down to Craigavon Hospital at this point. I could drive there with my fucking eyes closed. But
don't.
But don't. But it's just, it mightn't be a bad thing that there's like a lockdown, because at least you'll be there a lot. Have you had like contact with anyone else, like even like we sort of social sit in the garden jobs? No,
not really. No.
We were lucky that like Maureen's family were quite close, and they obviously more after that Maureen was in hospital and stuff, so like her sisters were so helpful, and her mum and everything. That I don't know. It might be okay because they're in lockdown. You don't have much else to do.
Yeah.
But because I was on fucking tour and going in the hospital with Maureen and everything. You know what I mean? It was like fucking chaos. But you should be all right. Like you'll just be tired, and like things go out the window where like the house is a fucking mess and all that shit. But like, who gives a fuck, really?
Baby, why are you not helping me tidy?
I know that would be my concern with you, is like, and I envy this in you. Sometimes you can be like, this is the way I like it, and that's it. And I get like 100%. I wish I was a wee bit more like that, but there'll be a few times where like you'll feel invisible. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I'll say something about it.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. It's like,
see, was last year with the big Odyssey shows? Was that this year? 10-year anniversary of I Am Fighter. Was that last year or this year?
Yeah, it was like last July.
So you were gonna like do like the shows were kind of like a big marker of that, like a big celebration of that. And you were like shooting some stuff. Like we shot a couple of things.
Yeah.
You were gonna do like a big like 10-year I Am Fighter thing, but obviously like with everything that went on, you probably just didn't get to devote as much time to that maybe as you thought you were going to. Mm-hmm. Are you still planning to do something like a big video type thing?
Yeah,
I think I saw you then again maybe mention it like a couple of weeks ago. What do you do for that?
I think it's just I think now like I need to like delegate a lot of stuff. If I was looking at all the stuff I was doing, filming a full-length documentary for fun on the side doesn't really fit into the schedule too well. So what I would rather do is hang back and just figure I would nearly like build it around a gig. So like have a premiere gig And if people bought tickets, have like a package where you get a ticket, you get to come to see the thing. There'd be a bit of stand up and maybe like a bit of merch or something thrown in. And try and actually pay some people to fucking help me out and like make it, like properly make it, instead of me setting a camera up and trying to piece it together. So I'd rather do it properly and try and make a bit of an event of it.
Just like, I guess, a bigger version of the things we started doing, like when you, me and Mickey first met doing, we'll maybe chat about this in a second, the famous BBC sketch show LOL.
Oh yeah.
You had an I'm Fighter premiere. You weren't even, I don't think you were doing stand-up yet.
No.
In Stiff Kitten. And it was me, Mickey, and General Fiasco. Me, Mickey, General Fiasco, and More Than Conquerors. Is that right? Were General Fiasco?
All the lads.
Maybe not. Maybe it was More Than Conquerors.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, we did a formal with General Fiasco. That's what, remember there
was Jesus Christ,
fucking terrible one. Me, you, Mickey, and General Fiasco doing a school formal. I mean, now that would be great, but back in the day, it wasn't so great.
I just got fucking like PTSD there when you said that.
Yeah.
How many gigs? Like that's one thing you develop over the years, is just the confidence to say no.
Oh yeah.
Or like, maybe you sort yourself out and you're in some way financially stable, and you can just be like, I'm not doing that for.
I think what you do get over time is the ability to sniff out when something's. I mean, you can get it. You definitely get it wrong from time to time, and you go, "This will be all right," and then it's not. But I think off the face of it, when you've done enough bad ones, you go, "I know from everything this person's saying, they mean the best, but this is not going to be good. Like this isn't going to work." So you probably like figure that out quicker. But it is mad the first couple of times that you turn, because back in those days we'd have done anything for 50 quid on a stage.
Yeah.
But now you kind of have to balance it out against, but like, do I want to go and do this and it's terrible and there's 300 people there who, even though it's not like a proper stand-up gig, they might judge you on it or something. I think it's better just to be able to go, like you say now, like, no, that's not.
I think if you're a comedian, you get to a certain level and people are paying to just see you.
Yeah.
You're done. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how you do stand-up now. It's like, it's almost like, if you were like a professional sports person, you would be like, I play at the top level on the best pitches with the best gear and the best people around me. That's how you're going to get the best out of me. I don't need to turn up on a Sunday on some like plowed field to play fucking rugby or so. You know what I mean? It's like, give me the best shit.
At the Valley.
Exactly. Like, give me the best shit.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, having said that, if someone was like, "Do you want to do a formal with General Fiasco?" now, I'll be like, "Fucking right." It would actually be like good crack now, because you wouldn't give a fuck at all. But I remember, like,
join them for the last song. Does a rebel get by?
General Fiasco were lethal. Do you remember?
100%.
They had I seen the scenario that was about to happen, and I started drinking like a fucking maniac. It was terrible. And do you know the thing is, back then, you have no ability to adapt. You basically go, these are the set of tools I have, and I'm going to go up and do this bullshit material about loose women here. And everyone's just eating a fucking pavlova. Like, no one gives a
17-year-old, yeah.
Do you remember, was there a hotel room, if I remember correctly? Basically, straight outside the back door of the room.
The band?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't. Oh, yeah, you were smoking with them, I think.
I can remember literally going out like 2 fire doors like this into a hall and through a door, and that was like their room.
Yeah, vaguely rings a bell. But I feel like I missed so much back in those days because I didn't smoke. Everybody smoked, and it was just always me and like the sound guy just standing there,
wheezing in the corner. Oh my god.
We've got listeners' questions. We'll get to them, but first of all, LOL. We did we met because me, you, Mickey, Aisling B, Yasmin Akram, a couple more people did a sketch show.
We've all done well.
Look at us now.
It literally goes like, Aisling B, Hollywood superstar.
Yasmin Akram, Sherlock. She's done a load of BBC dramas, and then the boy still kicking about where you left us. Where is she and Mickey and Colin now?
Shane's Shane's talking into a TV remote, and I'm drinking out of a fucking flask. Killing it.
That was the epitome of being asked to do something, not asking any questions, just going like, oh, it's a BBC, it's the British Broadcasting Corporation coming to us, looking us to be in a show. Yeah, you came to the pavilion to watch a bit of stand up just when that show like almost got announced. You were just there to watch a bit of stand up. We got chatting then, and then we did this sketch show, which there were definitely like decent sketches in it, but then there was a lot of sketches that were not decent. And the good thing about it was it got a lot of shit. Like a lot of people hated it, but not enough people watched it where it was bad. And back in the day, that's a win.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? When people hate it, but not enough people saw it, you know, that's sort of a success. Like I remember doing a sketch. Of course, I was doing like a Danny Dyer impression sketch. And by the way, I could not do an impression of Danny Dyer. Why did they let me do it? And it was Danny Dyer's Deadliest Men. And I had written one to shoot it at Carrick-a-Ree Rope Bridge. That's what it was. It was Danny Dyer's Deadliest Bridges. And and I remember on the day turning to Ray, the producer, and being like, here, what time are we going to Carrick-a-Ree to do this? And he goes, fuck it, we'll go to the Ormo Road and shoot at the bridge there. That summed it up. That was the show.
Well, I don't know how many times I fucking shit on the BBC at this point, like, but this is what they do. They fucking have no like, by the way, any day of the week, they could ring me, you, fucking Mick, anybody, McCann, even like Dave, certainly. I'd be like, can you make us a cheaply made, very funny sketch show? And it would be fucking finished by the end of the week, and it would do well. But they never commit to anything. They're like, this is experimental, which means if you think it's shite, sure, we weren't really trying. You know what I mean?
We sort of did that in a way with it shows you how good something like that could be, with a thing called Hack Job, which was what it sounded like. We just went out and filmed like a load of sketches at the playing fields at the Dub.
Yeah.
And got mates to send stuff in. You cut it together with a bit of a sting at the start, and it was better than it was better than any of those sketch shows.
If I have one talent, it's making up like a formula and giving it a name. I'll tell you what, it would fucking thrive right now.
100%.
Because it was basically like a collaboration show, but you sort of didn't have any responsibility for anyone else's shit. Everybody did their own stuff, and then I cut it together, and it was like the Fast Show, like dead quick cuts and everything, and it was fucking brilliant, and it cost nothing. But I can remember doing that at the time, like as a bit of a fuck you to. They were making another show. Was it Late License 2 or something? Was it about the same time?
I want to say yeah, it was. We were supposed to do that, and then we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious that like how shit it is when like a bunch of fucking broke comedians are saying no to TV work. That's how shite it was. You're like, nah, it's actually doesn't pay me, and I'm gonna look like a cunt, and no one's gonna see it anyway. So
well, we just said like because we did the first series of Late License, and then we didn't do the second one, and we were like, look, let's just do something else and do our own, like what we think something would and should look like. But Hack Job was great. I think we did maybe 6 of them or something. They were just short episodes. Like the boys were doing Positive Spied as well, which was like you could definitely still do that now. Like that was brilliant.
You could do 1 million of them. I was trying to think of a way to like get 6 of them easily, and it was like, you know, say you had a sketch, I'd be like, film 6 of those, and then me and Begley went and filmed that acting coach guy and shot like 6 of those, and did a bunch of shit. But that's all it takes. Like you just come up with like a wee formula, film like 6 or 8 of them, and have 6 or 8 people do that, and then all of a sudden you've got like, you know, a fucking mini series. Like
because there's no sketch, like not just locally, but like I don't think there's any real sketch shows anymore, and it's a shame because people are like, oh, sketch show's dead. it's not. It's just about doing it right.
Nobody, like, that's one of the things I maybe look into when this whole thing is over, is like, instead of giving off about the BBC and how shit everything is and nobody backs any local, like, actual talent, you know what I mean? Like, some people get, you know, a wee bit of work here and there, but it's like, you know, I'd love to try and somehow crowdfund or fund something differently to actually make like the TV show that you want to see.
Well, you could do that. Like I guess Patreon is taking off so much for everyone, and that's what people are essentially letting you do. Is just here creatively, I'm going to back you here, like financially as well, and you just get the, like, it just brings a wee bit of that freedom to go and do the sort of projects you want to do. Like I haven't been doing it for very long, but even now I'm like, flip, that's people who trust you almost, and they're like, here, keep making the things you're making, you know, because they understand that it's not like maybe it was back in the day where a broadcaster would go, here, we're just going to like employ you for a year, write stuff, you know, we'll put out the odd thing. So think like Patreon is that new I mean, I'm aware I sound very old when I say Patreon's that new thing. People go, it's been the new thing for a decade, but yeah, I think there's always been like, here, should we do this and do that? And with the whole lockdown thing, like, not just stand up, but with so many things, I'm like, why do I always say like, oh, this would be a good idea and then not do it? Like the other day when we were talking about that sleeved honored thing, like I've been saying that for years. I'd love to see a sunrise up sleeved honored, and then just went, there's no excuse not to do it now, you know. So I'd say if you or collectively we were all doing something like that, now would be the time to start planning it, you know, because everybody should now be going, right, what are we doing after this? Like, I don't know what I'm doing after this.
Well, the Patreon thing is weird too, because like, it's such a weird, like, people who are on my Patreon, like, I'll put something up and people are like, man, thank you so much for uploading this, and you're like, what do you mean thank you? You're paying to fucking see it, like.
Yeah.
But you can't make enough stuff, and like, even you know, I get fucking hounded for stuff. I'll be like, oh, I've got a live podcast that I found here, I might upload it. People are like, where's this live podcast?
Yeah, I noticed that. Or when you're like a day late with a podcast.
Yeah, or like,
Colin, mate,
I have merch from the Odyssey that I've changed. I was going to make a new shop and all this bullshit, and people are like, can I just fucking send you money and you send me it, even if it's not on the website? Where's these fucking, like, people looking to buy orange beanies in the middle of summer? You know, so it's class that they're so hungry for stuff, like. But and then I sort of like, I put like last year's stand-up show and the SSE show online, and people are like, it's fucking mental to see like people tagging you on, you know, Instagram and stories and stuff, and they're like sitting down,
they're Saturday night, yeah.
Doritos out, beers and all, watching the fucking show, and you're like, that's wild.
Well, that
fucking wild, like.
That is, I think whenever you see something you're doing, and then you see like directly see the feedback it's getting, like, that's why maybe it's difficult with TV, because it's harder to get a gauge on how people are interpreting it or whatever. But whenever me and Dave were doing the radio show, and you'd see people being like, you see people with a carryout and their families sitting, and you're like, what's mental is this is just audio. You know what I mean? Like, this is just, it's on.
It's like old school radio days where people are like tuning
like
in.
Spotify exists. You could just go and listen to the tracks, but they're actually being like, no, this is like our wee weekend.
By the way, I bet you fucking, you know, I bet you there's established, you know, radio and actual dance DJs going like, who the fuck is this fucking asshole?
Pete Tong slamming down his newspaper.
Yeah.
The fuck is Sean Todd?
Yeah, but just like, you know, all these fucking, you know, guys like, well, you're Saturday night with such and such, and here's all the tunes, and you swan in and be like, you know, I bet you're probably at the desk going, I don't even know what buttons to touch. Play fucking Gina G. And
I think I touched the button on radio before. Oh no.
Just you, one of those like paintbrushes in your mouth, like you're fucking.
I was doing a show in a hazmat suit way before Corona.
Oh fuck.
We've got listeners' questions. We'll rifle through some of these.
Oh Jesus!
You saying that reminds me of, remember that interview we love, and I think it's that woman, Dr. Dodd, who interviewed the guys in the graveyard who's left your McDonald's, and it's the two guys in West Belfast standing with their arms around each other outside of bookies. You know the one I'm talking about? And she's like, "What if I told you I'm Jewish?" And he's like, "What the fuck?" You know the one I'm talking about?
Vaguely, is that a different video?
Yeah, it's
earlier in that one video.
It's from the same time she was here, but it's a different video, and I don't know why I haven't been able to find it since. But it's
guys never even heard that. Jewish, fuck's sake! I've been talking about it flat out in the podcast. I'll tag you or I'll send you the clip. But there's a clip. It might be my favorite video ever. Where like it must be from the 90s maybe. And they'd shut off. I don't even know what road it is or where the fuck it is, but there's like a march going on or something, and they've shut the road. And this guy who couldn't look more, like mustache and big square glasses, and he comes out and he goes, there's a line of cops, and he goes, "I can't even get that chippy. I can't even get that Chinese." And he goes, "I can't even get a pint." And then he's so intense, and he just goes like this, "What's all this?" And it's the fucking. He's so intense, and it's my favorite clip ever. Like just to be like he's like, it's Friday night. I need a Chinese, and he can't get past this line of peelers, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Oh, it's tremendous! Like, and the amount of people hit me up like, "Where's that clip? Where's that clip?" And it's just 6 seconds of fucking gold. Like, oh my god,
very enjoyable.
What's all this?
NI Supplement says, "Who'd win in a thumb war?" Me,
you from about 4 meters away. I have like I when I did judo when I was younger, I fucking fully dislocated my thumb, but it came out and went back in the same movement, and it was like enormous. And I have like, it's like a crocodile's jaw. Like all the pressure just goes down. I can't lift it. Like if you put pressure on the top, I can't lift it up. So you'd probably absolutely win. Maureen beats me in a thumb war. Which is a culture.
That's who you're doing to pass the time in lockdown. Hey, what you would do at the weekend? Thumb war competition.
Yeah, me practicing all week.
Matthew Mernon says, "Has lockdown kickstarted a Patreon revolution? Where do you see it heading?" Well, we're talking about that a bit, but yeah, if you could, I guess, to make a better question out of the one Matthew asked, because frankly, that wasn't a great question. Would I just have an ongoing feud with?
And I fucking talk down to my listeners.
Well, Matthew Mernon, who has a terrible haircut, but
come on,
if you could do one project with, say, somebody was like, "Here's X amount of money, enough for you to get cameramen, all that kind of thing." Maybe not the project you were talking about, just some different. Like, would you like to do like a short film? Would you do like a ridiculous music video, like a full DJ Khaled type music video? What's one project you'd like to do?
It's kind of like, I don't know. Do you know what I would probably do? Like a travel show, but like, something trying to make it funny. I don't know whether it would be like comedians on tour or whatever, but like, I probably wouldn't go down the sketch show thing or like trying to make a movie or whatever. I would do like a travel show and just go do a bunch of weird shit.
So I had,
but it would probably take like a bunch of people.
Yeah, I had an idea. Me and Aaron Butler were talking about of it's probably been done in some way, but you go on Skyscanner. You say you're going from Belfast or Dublin, and that morning that you're going to go, or the night before, you go on Skyscanner. You know the way you can filter like Belfast to anywhere, and it'll just be anywhere in the world. You pick like the cheapest flights that are outside, say the UK and Ireland, and go for the day. Whereas the cheapest day trip we can go on tomorrow, and you get like early morning flight, last flight home. And I think the challenge was,
like how far could you go? Like,
like some of them were like Eastern Europe, some were, it's the usual sort of ones like France, Spain, Portugal, but sometimes they were not the touristy type places, like an airport out in the middle of nowhere. So the sort of loose theme was, you have like 50 quid each, and what are you going to do for the day? So you could go do touristy things, you could get something to eat. I don't know, we just thought it would be fun, quick to shoot, and also it's not going to cost you much because your flights might be 15 quid.
Just you and him getting a fucking Nando's in every Eastern Bloc shithole you can find. Here we are in fucking the Ukraine getting a Nando's. Do you have any vegan patties?
Getting her Chernobyl peri-peri on.
It's peri-peri fucking two-headed cat.
Hey, I've been in lockdown that much, I would eat it. 1,000%.
Oh, fuck.
Danny says, yeah, this is weird. He says, have you seen the Weird Itchy Feet account that's been replying to your tweets? Have you seen this as well?
Yeah.
You've been following a few scratchers yourself. So I think accounts like that, like, I wouldn't even call it really troll accounts, but think of the actual real life admin that goes into that, because that's a person like setting up like getting the email, confirming their account, and then going, I'm just going to like really reply to all these guys and sort of see what happens. Like there's something like something very bizarre about it. You know, just always like wanting a response, comment, and then obviously you're going to block it because it's like it's weird. There's nothing you can do with it. But then what happens when you block that person? Do they just go, "Ah, well, it was good," you know? What a good run.
I have no idea what the fuck is wrong with people. Like, they're not, like, obviously that probably is some sort of sexual kink type thing. I was talking about this recently on a podcast. It's like there'd be people into that, like, probably.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's like fucking. I'm so sick of the fucking internet. Like, just shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Getting fucking anonymous abuse out of nowhere. It's gonna start going to people's houses and fucking kneecapping them.
But it is that thing of like, you have to think of the people that, like, first of all, no one's happy. No happy person is logging on to do that. And second, there's no sexy people. You never turn on to a real sexy person and be like, what are you doing? They're like, I'm saying Colin was late with the podcast, so I'm just commenting where's Thomas on his last name on Instagram. You know, no knockouts are doing that.
No, totally. No, fucking right. It's just like, oh fuck.
Haven't you been a material on conspiracy theorists like that? Saying like, I have a conspiracy that no conspiracy theorists are good looking. Like, show me a good looking conspiracy theorist.
It's very true. Like, yeah.
Chris Henning says, I mean, this is one people would probably want to know the answer to. Who'd win in a fight between you two? I mean, let's be sensible here. Me.
What age is that guy? 12?
I mean, I think a fight the only thing I could really hope for would be to spend enough time using
an earthquake
techniques. Yeah, like just enough. Like just moving around quickly enough to the point where you might forget about the fight, and then at that point I could try something. Yeah. But yeah, I just have to make it last. Like if we were going to fight, then like a fight, and it was 5 rounds, I think I could maybe move around enough to get the second, and then it would be curtains.
It depends what sort of fight. Like, you know, if you trained enough in boxing and we boxed and like you were way quicker and your movement was better.
Yeah, you'd break my neck.
No, but like, I know, but like if you got good at actual boxing, not just punching and like moving, and I couldn't get at you, I might just get really tired and you just pick me apart.
Do you know why that wouldn't happen? Because you ever see white collar boxing, like videos of it? There's fellas who like play a lot of sport, who are naturally fit and maybe in good shape, and they're obviously doing well in the training. Like I'd say the fellas who do that, and they're working out with a boxing coach, hitting the bag really well, road runs, all that kind of thing. As soon as that bell goes and there's like 80 of your mates going, kick his fucking plan, they just lose the head.
Yeah, I know.
The head.
They put up like, you know, they look like fucking Mayweather on the speed bag, like, and then they just turn up and it's like ding ding, and there's fucking like head back like this.
Why in those videos is there always a woman and you can't tell whether it's just 20 or 80, and she go, fucking kill him. Get in them frat.
I remember years ago watching, there was a documentary about Wayne McCulloch on, I don't know what it was, following his journey in America or whatever, and it might have been his wife or his girlfriend or something at the time. And it showed you, it was just like a regular documentary, like highlights or like behind the scenes of every fight. And they were ringside, and all you could hear was, "Come on, Wayne! Come on, Wayne!" And my dad turned it off. He's like, "I can't fucking listen to her. Every fight, come on, Wayne!"
I remember going to watch a Northern Ireland under-21 football match, and one of the players got like injured, or and he'd been wrecked by another player, and his partner or wife, whatever, was sitting in a big fur coat. By the way, this was at the Oval, right? But sitting there, fur coat, big proper earrings, because he was playing over in England at the time, so maybe making a few quid, but this is like early noughties. And he got wrecked by this guy, and the wife or partner just shouted to her partner, "Get up off your fat arse, you bastard!" And I have never enjoyed anything more in my life. He'd been wrecked, like he hadn't dived or anything.
Yeah.
It's just very, very enjoyable.
I remember, I probably told you this before, someone's mate of mine when I was younger, his dad took us to see a pre-season, and it was Linfield, Liverpool. Right. And this is how long ago this was. It was Michael Owen's first game for Liverpool. And
so like what, 96, 97 maybe? Yeah, say 96.
I was a young lad, like, and I just remember the fucking racial abuse going on in the stands. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Like literally, I can't remember who it was. Obviously some black dude playing for Liverpool, and they were like, fucking chuck him on the bony and all this here. And I was like, what? Jesus Christ. Michael Owen just running rings around everybody.
See, I think you'd like to go to Irish League games, because and amateur league games or whatever level I play at, I think you would enjoy an hour and a half there every Saturday, because it's just some material. Of the things you hear. See, whenever you have two benches going at each other, like the level I play at, there's no spectators really, like, so you can hear everything, which you wouldn't normally hear at a match.
Yeah.
So like, there's always someone's dad this side, like shouting with the assistant coach on the other side, and the phrase "you fucking clown" gets used. Like, I love that phrase.
Yeah.
It gets used so much. Like,
yeah,
but you can just tell these boys are bottling it in all week, and then Saturday comes and it's a chance to just give it to people.
Well, there's certain like phrases that I think are only used in like shit football matches in Northern Ireland. Let them know you're there.
Well, you and I joke about this all the time, but when someone goes, when you have the ball and you're having a bad game, and an opposition member of the bench goes, "He'll give you it, he doesn't want it."
Yeah.
See, no matter what, it always gets in your head, and you go, "Oh, I fucking don't want it." You know, like, boys always bottle it whenever that happens.
I sort of stopped playing football when I was maybe like fucking 13 or something, because I was playing rugby pretty much. But like some of the shit that would get said at these leagues on a Saturday, you're fucking, he's got the touch of a rapist. Oh, fucking, like a 48-year-old shouting at a 14-year-old. You know what I mean? He backed out that tackle, fucking queer. I remember playing this match, and the fucking, what was it? The coach came on. Someone had fucked up. I don't know what, give away a penalty or something stupid. And they were going to bring him off. And he was like, "I'm not fucking going off on it." And the other teammate pushed him. And the guy took his boot off and hit him on the fucking head with a boot. And the two coaches, like, literally, like, dragging him off like he was getting kicked out of a nightclub. And you're like, it always seemed like when you played those, like, Belfast teams, you're like, Jesus Christ.
Also, like, if someone took their boot off now and hit you with it, it would be fine, because it's like soft plastic studs now. But back in the day, metal moldies, mate, metal studs, split your head open, like.
Yeah, or like boys would, like, this is why they're banned in rugby, but you'd have like the blades, the wee things.
Yeah.
And on the walk to the pitch, they would fucking scuff on the tarmac or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would be so sharp. That's why, like, they check them in rugby, because you have to have those big fucking, long metal round studs.
Do you, like, could you ever see yourself playing? Do you think you'll ever play five-a-side again in your life?
After my illustrious career? Yeah, why not? Why would I not play five-a-side?
I don't know, like, I can't.
Once again, this goes back to the climbing the mountain thing. Who the fuck am I playing five? I couldn't get five people together.
I just, like, because you played football for, like, local clubs. You were playing in, like, junior tournaments and all that, and I can't work out in my head how you can't not now just still want to be playing football. I just like it's weird. It's weird to me that even though I say that, it's weird to me that at this age I still play on a Saturday, because when you think about it, it's like we're all trying, like people that play football and stuff. You think it's like the Premier League, getting stripped out, team talk, let's go lads and all. But really, when you watch what we're doing, it's like playing dress up. You know what I mean? Like it really is like
it's like theater. You're just like boys like, you know, have a certain way of taping their fucking socks and boots and shin pads and all, and you're like, to what? Barely run for the next fucking 45 minutes. But I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know. You see, I like things when they're actually really competitive. Does that make sense? It's almost like the competition or the seriousness of like training. I like more. I was never into just playing football for the crack. Same with rugby. Like I loved when you were training 5 times a week, you know, and going out there like you're trying to fucking smash people, and it was deadly serious. And then when I went to uni, it was like, oh, can we get 15 guys together to play some fucking shitty match? I hated that. I hated the drop in like seriousness.
Yeah.
But I think there's still like a competitive thing across the board with everything. Like
5-a-side's great because it's that sort of blend of like sometimes it does get competitive, but you're just playing with your mates and you can like mess about.
Can I tell you something? I on my last podcast, I don't know if you listened to it, probably not, but
not yet.
I was talking about being at a tournament, like a 7-a-side tournament when I was younger, and I was telling Maureen this story the other day, and I told her the story, and then I went, "No," and she didn't react to it, and I was like, if I had told this to Shane Todd, he'd piss himself. It was like, by the way, I was probably built more or less like this when I was playing football, but at the 7-a-side tournament, and literally, I think we might have played like 6 games, and I got I have a wee plaque for top goal scorer because it was like 28 goals in about 6 matches, and
Gabriel Batistuta
just fucking rattling them in from all over the place. And I won player of the tournament, and it was legit. Like they say your name, and I was like, I never win anything. Went up and got this thing, like fucking yes. And someone, you know, I said there was always like scouts there, right? And but do you ever experience that when you were younger? People were like, there's a scout there, but if they didn't say Man United, you're like, sure, who the fuck would play for? Who the fuck's playing for QPR? Suck my dick. But so word got back to me, right? And someone goes, oh, apparently your guy's probably a paedophile. Like they're like, like guy over there, you know, said he had his eye on you, you know, very powerful, you know, fucking forward, scored loads of goals and everything. And I went, oh yeah, and he goes, yeah, he said that you reminded him of a young John Hartson. Which I'm pretty sure, did he play for Celtic at the time?
Played for Celtic, West Ham.
Yeah, that was you know, when you're in a fucking playing for a team that's at a football pitch beside like Rathcoole Estate, and someone goes, you play like a young John Hartson, all your mates are like, ah, loser, ginger fat bastard.
I got done with that once. I remember being in the game and it was a real important match, and they said there was scouts there, and I was fucking buzzing for it. And at the end of the game, they said, "Do you want to go and meet?" And I went over, and it was just 2 kids tying knots,
like actual scouts. What's happening, Shane?
Yeah, I don't know. The best goal I ever scored was I was in the scouts up until last year, and whenever I was about 11, I also played for the scouts team, and I scored a goal. It was semi-final of a tournament, and it gone into extra time down at the Danny Blanchflower Stadium, and ball bounced up, and I half volleyed lobbed the keeper from about 30 yards. Although back in the day when you were so small, it felt like 30 yards was probably 8. And my dad had been
in the box, like
video recording some of the game, and when I scored the goal, I turned around to make sure he had it in camera. Very me. And he had been like either changing the battery on the camera or doing something. Not only had he not recorded it, but he'd also missed it, which was pretty sweet. But yeah, like football like great moments in football mean probably more to me than stand up. Like whenever I scored that goal in that charity game at Seaview and put it up 98 times, that moment is better than like doing a good gig. Like for sure. It's better.
Oh yeah, it's you always want to be like good at the thing that you're like.
You're not supposed to be good at.
It's not your main thing. Like
yeah.
Yeah, I remember once the best goal I ever scored. So a keeper, it was down like the pitches on the shore road, like beside the church, that big fucking giant church, and the keeper, the keeper just fucking got the ball, kicked it out of his hands, and it came the whole way up the halfway line, and I just caught it on the volley and sent it right back over his head into the net. But I think it was one of the matches where like I think you were winning like fucking 7-0 or something. Yeah. So it wasn't even that. Everyone was just like, oh well, there's another fucking goal.
When I was playing for the Scouts team, we were playing a team of other Scouts, but they had a mixed team, right? So they had boys and girls.
Oh right.
We must have been like 6-0 up within a couple of minutes. And I was really like fucking going for it. I was wearing yellow Puma King boots. It was maybe like 10. And I'd scored like a good few against this team already, and I was thinking I could maybe score 20 or 30 in this game. He brought me off after about 15 minutes because he's like, no, this other team, they haven't played many games and it's a mixed team. I started crying.
Yeah. Maybe were you like the ringer where they're like, yeah, it's mixed teams. This wee girl in the yellow boots is he's our wee girl.
Yeah.
They put like a wee scrunchie in your hair just for no reason.
I put a scrunchie in my hair now. I ordered a hairband off Amazon, like one with the wee teeth, and then when I put it on, I went, bad call. Bad call.
Oh really? Only once you had it on? Did you think that was a bad call?
Before I let you go, let me ask you this: if you got to do stand up again, like say they said like lockdown's lifted, get to do stand up again anywhere you want, and you get to do one, say this Saturday night you get to do a gig, where would you do it?
I would do it Lavery's. I would have like just all the boys on, and I would just oversell it and ram it to the dick and just fucking.
Well, you say all the boys on, but if people are listening being like, why are you not having women on? I could come in the yellow boots and put the hairband in, and we could get around it.
Give it up for Shane and a scrunchie. Here he is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that could be a character piece, but man, I gotta go because listen, I've got a podcast coming up here with with Chad Michael Murray. So
here, how many times did Dornan say grubber kick in that podcast?
What's great is I don't know what that is, but I was like, oh yeah.
I was like, he's pushing for you to go. Do you have a ball there, Jamie? And you could fucking show us one of these grubber kicks. Everything just came back to I just in the garden hitting grubber kicks, man.
I mean, definitely a lot of our comedy friends look like they could have the nickname Grubber. Like Mickey could definitely be Grubber for sure.
Mickey on the first night back at Lavery's will be like, you know, your over emotional ma at a fucking wedding. You'll have to like put his coat on and put him in a taxi and be like, oh, and you go and he'll be like, I just can't believe.
As soon as he arrives, he'll go, boys, I'm not drinking tonight. As soon as he arrives.
And you're like, is that a bag of flour? And he's like, that's cocaine. That's I'll be doing all coke tonight, basically.
Enjoyable. Bring it back.
Enjoyable.
Bring it back. Take me back to even those terrible gigs we talked about. I'd do any of them now.
Oh fuck.
Anyway, my man, I appreciate your time. Cheers for doing the pod.
No worries. Gonna go out the back and hit a few grubber kicks against the wall here.
I'm gonna find those yellow boots.
Are you proper ending this now? Are you doing the fake ending? And then...
I'm really going to end it because I need to piss so bad.
Do it, man. Do it.
All right. See you in a bit. Cheers.
See you in a bit. Take her easy.
Sippers, there we have it. The Tea With Me podcast episode with Godzilla himself, Colin Geddis. I really, really enjoyed that. You know, hopefully you know what I enjoy about doing podcasts like this is when people say, oh, it's just like you're the third person in a chat between two mates. And hopefully you guys really enjoyed that because I definitely did. you don't need me to say, hey, Colin, where can people check out your stuff? Because hey, we all know by now, Colin Geddis on everything, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all. I mean, he doesn't need me to do this for him because everybody knows him. So, but you know what people should do? Go back and watch old stuff. Go back and watch old stuff, because I've been putting up some old stuff, and I like it whenever you go, oh, you remember that video? In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Tonight, I'm going to put up, although it will already have come out, fuck it, I'm going to put up a video Colin and I did of like a DUP counsellor doing an interview with Colin's character, Gary Henderson. I'm going to put that up because it was an old video that was probably topical at the time. Isn't that topical anymore? But who cares? It was funny. So let's just enjoy that. Like I was about to say, God, we've had some fun over the years, me and Colin. But that would make it seem like we're pensioners, you know, and we're coming towards the end. Hopefully we're not. You know, we're just two very young guys. That's what it is. And I can't wait to do stand up with that guy again and see him and see his family. Because you know, it's tough. You know, you sort of like, you chat to people on WhatsApp or you see them over this, and it's great, but you want to see them. It just makes you be like, I actually want to see that person, you know. So whenever I see that guy, and I give him a massive kiss, you know, really, really, really big kiss on his forehead, and then on top of his head, and then the back of his head, you know, which will all have the same sort of texture to them. But I think I'll get something out of each of them individually. Guys, thanks very much for listening and watching. As always, the usual stuff. You want to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, you can do. If you even want to rate and review it on Apple Podcasts, that would be extra class, but don't feel you have to. But it would be really dead on. If you want to be dead on, do it. And if you're like, sly, whatever, don't. Patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. There's no gigs or anything at the minute. It's kind of a crazy time where nothing's going on. So the podcast is like numero uno at the minute. Numero uno at the minute, which is French for the main thing. So if you want to support that, if you're in a position to do so, patreon.com/teawithmepodcast, you get that bonus episode. If you can't get enough tea, and let's face it, we can't, that's the way you do it. Thank you very much for listening and watching. I will be back on Monday with a Patreon episode, and then next week we'll have a guest episode and a solo episode. As always, if there's anybody you can think of you want me to do an interview with, you want me to try and get in the pod, because I think we've nearly been able to get everyone on that people have asked for, fire it in the comments or send us a message. teawithmepodcast@gmail.com. You want to contact us for anything. And also, we're getting into the merch game pretty soon. Thanks very much, guys. Peace, sip.